because, you know, Witsit started talking about how he's like, oh, maybe I might have been duped or like set up. And then right the next day, David Weiss dropped a video about how like they faked the sun probably and they got duped somehow.
Well,
Which
he
is
was
weird.
saying that. He was saying that from day one, though. David Weiss
Yeah,
was.
but why would Witsit think he got set up?
When did you hear that? I've never heard Witsit say he thinks that
was
at all.
that was after the debate when we were all down here. I don't know if you were there.
Yeah, I was there. mean
Yeah, I
after
remember you
the-
being there, but
The Rusted
he
Soul
came.
and
Yeah, he
Garoppolo?
came back in. He came back in and he was talking about with us. I guess they got mad that I was arguing for, or like I was like defending a point because I thought that they were using some like emotional arguing tactics to stop people from like having an opinion on something, which I thought was ridiculous. So I was just defending a point, and then he came in like pretty mad about that, and then he was talking about Jeran, and I just brought up how I thought it like what Jeran did was pretty traitorous, and it was like very obvious, and he was like more forgiving of that, while attacking other people, claiming that they didn't have empathy for not not sympathizing with him, but then acting like he can sympathize with Jeran, and that's like a good thing, but he can't sympathize with the own flat earthers that think they might have faked something that, you know, they don't know how to deal with maybe. So I just thought that was like very contradictory. And
I agree.
And yeah.
I agree about you know, if it takes defending each other only on merit of, you know, it could have happened or it's a possibility, so don't hold it against them or along those lines. I get it, but when there is more than one option, say it could have been faked, could have been set up, it could be real because of, you know, how the sun works in the sky, it becomes a blurred line then. Agreed? Like we can't really narrow in, say, a percentage.
Yeah.
It's the only option, right? So if we do talk about solutions rather than possible problems, I think we may get more down to the point and maybe even start fundraising so we can get back down there. Or let's go compare the south to the north, which they did a very good job on. Either it's real and it's more of a long drawn out up and down sine wave, which is the sun traveling between Capricorn and or the equator, right? Versus a shorter, faster in the north, which would be the sun traveling between the equator and Cancer, right? Shorter top of the firmament, skinnier, or not, you know, less narrow than the wide south of Capricorn. So yeah, man. And I also heard, I don't know if it's true, but you know, that they have from the North Pole, geographic North Pole down to Cancer, way off. They're calling it symmetrical at 23.4 degrees, right? For top and bottom of the globe with Cancer, Capricorn. Hope everybody's following me. It's really like 43 from north to Cancer, and then like not even that much from Capricorn to, or more from Capricorn to you know, the South Pole, quote unquote.
No.
So yeah, man, I found that interesting.
So,
yeah. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Dude, I don't even know if I could steel man that. What all did you? Oh my gosh! All right, the distance between there's 90 degrees. There's 90 degrees north. The equator's at 0, and then there's 90 south, and the tropics are both 23.4 from the equator. It's the exact same in terms of that. So where were you getting 43 and then saying they're different?
You all of a sudden you're allowed to criticize people? Is that what you're doing, Gio?
No, I said this.
That wasn't a.
I'm not saying this is true.
Yeah, we're having a
He's asking a
conversation. I don't know what she's doing. Go ahead.
Yeah. So instead of the middle of a sphere outward for both measurements, you would what they've done is measured first from geographic north, which would be Mount Meru-ish area, down to Cancer, and it's like 43 point something degrees, right?
Well, where are you getting that?
This
Let's start there. Where are you getting that? Where are you getting the distance from the North Pole to the Tropic of Cancer is 43 anything?
I mean, I would have to find.
It's one. I mean, at 1 degree per 69 miles, the entire latitude system was built off elevation angles to Polaris, and there's 90 minus 23.4 degrees, 66.6.
And that's the celestial sphere, right? Correct.
Yo, I wanted to get in like 15 minutes ago. Is there a potential that maybe I could get in real quick?
Yeah.
So first off, let me just make some shit clear. No, not you. I was trying to get in. Yo, real quick. 15 minutes ago, I was trying to get in, and you had like 3 monologues, and I never got in. So So first off, I just want to say for the
from the
yo, come on,
RG,
man.
you
I wanted
gotta
to
mute
get
your
in
mic,
15
bro.
minutes
You
ago,
just
dude. You've
he's
already
right.
done
You
3
just went on really
monologues in
long,
between me not being able to get in.
bro.
So
We
I would
got
like to
no.
just get
Go
my
ahead.
piece in. I'll leave. You know what? I'll leave after I get my piece in real quick
No, dude, don't
because
leave. Hold on, RJ.
do that.
RJ, just chill for a second, dude. You did say a lot of points. We can go back to your points. He wanted to get in. Can you get in?
Yeah, just go
It's
for it.
been the whole
yeah,
time though, yeah.
Oh,
I've been waiting for a very long time to get this in. But essentially, first off, for the record, let me just say that I would never accuse or slander Witsit um, of anything unless I truly believed that it was the case, which I do not. Like I said, I'm leaning towards something like that happening, but I would say I don't know. I can't really make a claim. I'll entertain the people who said it's fake. And I'll entertain the people who said it's real. I'm really more of a fence sitter. I'm not saying this guy's a liar, agent, or shill, but I would just like to go through maybe the different options of what could have occurred, right? Maybe a list of the possibilities, right? With the first possibility being they went there and they saw 24-hour sun because it's a globe, right? That would be possibility one. Possibility two, they went there, they saw the 24-hour sun, but it's a 24-hour sun on a flat earth. That's option number two, right? Option number three is they went there, they saw like a fake sun or some sort of illusion or something, and they were duped into thinking there was a 24-hour sun. And I believe the fourth option would be that they didn't go there and the whole thing was a staged event and it didn't happen. I mean, is there any outside of those possibilities, those four possibilities that I just listed out? Can anyone think of any fifth possibility? Because I think I just went over all the scenarios here, and maybe we could, through process of elimination, maybe eliminate one or two of those possibilities. I don't know. Maybe that's my addition. Thank you.
yeah, man. No, I hear what you're saying there. That's pretty well laid out. Yeah, I mean, I guess there could be other things like you could say they went to a different location or something, or I guess you could even say like they went through a portal, or any. I guess there could be other kind of possible other kind of ideas ranging from wild to more wild, maybe if we start adding on a bunch of different possibilities. But yeah, I mean, the way you laid it out, that does seem to be like the general kind of areas or kind of platforms of ideas that are being placed upon in a way. Yeah. Um,
Wait, Noah, were you gonna go somewhere with that whole thing?
yeah, that's why I was kind of stopping because I didn't know. And we can open up to any one of those or wherever we shift from here, but I was just trying to be short.
Yeah, I just thought maybe that was a good layout of the conversation as a whole. Is the conversation is
Oh, right.
inherently split into four sectors, right? Being that it happened and it's a globe, it happened, but it's explainable and still a FE. It happened, they were deceived, or it happened and they were deceiving us. That's really, that's more of like
Or
a
it didn't
legend or a
happen.
layout.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, basically it happened in its globe.
or
It's happened in its globe. It's happened in its stationary and planar, or it didn't happen at all. Or I
Did you
guess they
guys
went
see,
somewhere else.
or
Yeah.
or
I,
one of them was deceiving us and the other wasn't.
I just got here, but I was shown a video earlier of Jeran fumbling around with a compass, and I'm not sure if anyone else took compass readings down there, but it seemed that he was holding it upside down, which makes it so that the little spinner doesn't spin. And I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I'm just curious if anybody had
Was that one of the
heard or
points
seen
that
about that.
Rusted Soul brought up? I thought it was, right? She brought that
I
up.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know,
She did,
Yeah.
to be honest.
No, I did see that video, but I don't. I mean, I think the only time I remember seeing other compasses, and I didn't see like all of the live streams that Witsit showed, but he did show one where he was in the plane and he did have his like 3 compasses laid out in front of him. But in Antarctica, I don't know if there's any more footage.
I mean, wow, Jeran not using a compass correctly. Not a shocker. Got to be honest. He's disappointed me in so many ways. Way before today. So
Did you see the stream tonight or hear what's going on over there? Did you hear?
yeah, I watched part of the stream. I mean, he basically is revealing the character that I've been warning people about for the last 5+ years. Just keep telling people I don't trust Jeran. I don't trust Jeran. I don't know exactly why. He just keeps disappointing us. He keeps saying the wrong things, and now we get something like today. I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of par for Jeran for me. But yeah, I'm not indicating that like anybody. Oh, he's just calling us all retards.
He's
Pretty much,
really?
like, full on. Yeah,
He's like pretty much full globe. I mean,
he's full
basically
globe.
saying
He's
It's
basically Brenda at this point.
He's not convinced by one globe point. He's just parroting all of the globe points.
Yeah.
It's not like
Yeah,
they
so
got him with one thing and he's just kind of like Well, I can kind of see it because of blank. He's spouting every globe point.
See,
Yeah.
this is so weird to me. Like after personally
Yep.
being accused to be a shill, like I do not want to call anybody a shill. Like I just think that's like so not
Well,
cool.
unless I know for
It's
sure,
not cool. Just not
I
cool
just
to
say
be
that I
there.
don't trust that person. It's like the safe middle ground,
Yeah,
you know?
I'm not gonna say anything other than that's just not really cool to like make fun of a community you've been in for a long time. But I've seen people
Yeah.
do this. I've seen people do this against like the analogy is not gonna be very good because it's gonna paint flat earthers as religious, but like I've seen people turn their back on their religious communities and like even though the community supported them, the second they feel like the community's betrayed them, they just mock it. So
Mhm.
that's unfortunate.
Mhm.
But I think all this stuff, like, I truly feel, not that anybody cares, but I truly feel so optimistic about the future. Like, I really think this is just like the growing pains. I don't know. And honestly, I'm so indifferent. Like, if for some reason it's a geocentric ball, like, I don't care. Like, like I don't think it's a ball at all. Like, it's really hard for me to think that now. I don't think it is, but regardless, I know that there's a creator, so I'm happy.
Mhm.
I think I don't know. I think what's going on, like I really think the creator's playing a role in it. And maybe it's just I don't know. Like the community is shedding their skin and some people are going to learn more stuff and other people are just going to fall away. But I don't know. I think this shift is happening before something big is going to happen, and I think it's going to be good.
Nice. I love the positivity. And yeah, I hear you on that because I mean there is you could say turmoil of sorts, but what is that leading towards and what is that, is that kind of clearing the plate for something new or is it shifting gears in some way? Also makes me think of like in the bottom of an ocean, you have all the sand and dirt at the bottom that's usually kind of, bottom of a lake, let's say, or even an ocean, the sand's down there. And then you go down there and you stomp your feet around and everything gets stirred up. And it looks almost like chaos. And you're like, oh my gosh, there's things everywhere. Um, there's dirt everywhere and maybe you can't even see or whatever. It's kind of chaotic, but then everything ends up settling. And I guess to like take the analogy, like maybe the idea would be that like when the dust gets kicked up, there can be some kind of clarifications or maybe boundaries that need to be set or needed to be set, maybe even strengthening of some people's bonds, but weakening of others. So it's kind of like, okay, those energies are weakened, but then those are stronger. I know that there's been certain connections that seem to that have kind of gotten stronger basically ever since that in a way like not that they weren't strong before, but it was just like there was just some kind of a strengthening happening. And then meanwhile, there's people that people have had fallouts with, of course, in different ways that that have gone against them or whatever. Especially Jeran and Witsit themselves, that a lot of their subscribers and people in the community say all kinds of stuff to them in that case. But anyways, yeah, but just like the whole kind of reconfiguration stage of things, and that there's much more under the surface, as it were, that's actually there, in terms of underneath all of this. So yeah, I just wanted to comment on that and kind of add that, yeah, the kicking up the sand kind of thing, which can seem dislocating, but ultimately like things are going to settle in a new way. And then what is that new way? Like what shifts or cleansing has happened to make that new way even better or more on point or more in line with what needs to unfold? Because really, I think it's humanity we have to help. It's not really necessarily the few people now and what they think. It's kind of the bigger picture in the future and the powers that be that are kind of have us hostage in a way. That's really the bigger. So like what palette needs to be cleared for those type that energy to shift rather than just the individuals in the community currently.
Well, and like if you let this whole thing shake you, like you're not really down for the ride. Like you just have to just deal with it. It's gonna get better. This is really boring in my opinion. Like all this like stupid drama is really boring. And I'm just excited to get to the fun part again where we're like discovering more about the earth and what's going on. Because that's the best part about being a flat earther. It's like, ooh, what new things are we learning now?
Well, is this a stage of like, who do you want to be on your exploration? You know, like who's on the bus and who's not in your own personal or anyone's, you know, like, is it that kind of vibe? Like, who do we want to explore the earth with? You know, is it these people or is it not these that I thought it was, or is it these? It's kind of an interesting way to see it.
I will say though, like I definitely have realized also, like I can't just hide behind the identity of a flat earther. Like the community does not always have your back. So you really just have to be on this journey by yourself in some ways and whatever that means, you know.
At the
Not
end of the
that
day,
I
yeah, it's like we're
yeah.
born alone and naked, we die alone and naked. Our thoughts are our own in a way. So yeah, at the end of the day, it is kind of like
Yeah. Like the flat earth community, like, you know, they may they may get dispersed, but that doesn't mean that you need to like just it's a yeah, it's like you said, at the end of the day, it's your own journey.
yeah, and there is kind of a joint journey as well, but at the same time, like the truth journey, it seems is like our own in a sense. Like I even think spiritual, because truth is, I think, spiritual in many ways, and spiritual truth, when you combine those, like when it comes to like we would more categorize spirituality, but also even just every truth, I think, has a spiritual nature to it in its own way. So yeah, that kind of process within each person, like whether people lie, whether they're honest, whether they believe lies, or whether they're able to decipher truth, just all of those spectrums. That part, it does seem like a very self journey, like even to the point to where in my mind, like the creator would create us so that it can experience all of those individual versions of that, of coming to truth throughout, you know,
Mhm.
perhaps eons of experiences individually, and then having that. But yeah, at the same time, though, there is kind of a collective of humans in a way, if you want to say that, or just a collection in that way. So yeah, people are going to group together and have similar ideas, and in that way, it's a community. But really, we're all just on Earth. Really, we're just humans. You know, what is like the community other than all of us just, yeah, basically together in different ways.
Well, and I really do think that we are in the end times, and to me this is so much more spiritual thing than I think I even realized. Like when I first found out about flat earth, like I had no idea the path that it would be taking me down. And I see that, like, I don't want to, no disrespect to Jeran, but he didn't really have like a spiritual connection to flat earth, it seemed like to him it was just kind of more um just like a conspiratorial. There was no spiritual connection. Not that I'm saying that flat earthers are religious, okay? But when you cross over and it becomes almost a spiritual thing, I think it's harder to just shake that from you. Like you're way more anchored in it. Because now, in my opinion, like the Bible also matches everything with the flat earth. So it's going to be way, way harder for something like a 24-hour sun to take the true earth away from me. Because to me, it's so much deeper than that. And you see that a lot with like mainstream religious people too. Like if you're not really down for the ride, like you're gonna fall prey to all the other psyops going on for the mainstream Christians. So I think that it may come to that point, like not that you have to be religious to be for flat earth, but if you have like a greater purpose in like I have a greater purpose in believing in flat earth because I'm trying to understand God's creation. So
Yeah, which is way
yeah,
bigger than like a debate.
purpose in believing in flat earth because I'm trying to understand God's creation. So
Yeah, which is way
yeah.
bigger than like a debate or some kind of
Yes,
movement or
exactly.
even any of that. Yeah, it's on a whole nother level from that. Yeah, that's true, and I'm not. Yeah, with Jeran, I don't know his exact spiritual viewpoints, but I'm not just calling him this. But I was just going to say and comment to that, like the idea of like just kind of like being a YouTuber that's kind of saying his ideas, versus like you said, maybe the more spiritual parts of things, for some, because yeah, I mean the way that Jeran has kind of quote unquote flipped, as it were, like so quickly in that way. He even said today, like, oh, well, God's creation is a globe, so he probably would have said before God's creation was a flat earth, and now it's a globe. And it's like, is that like maybe he's just not on that wavelength of like tuning into it in that way, or wanting, having that kind of either relationship as some people define it, or because that's a much deeper process, than just kind of changing a position or just changing the direction of a channel. And I'm not saying that's all of what it is for him, though. I mean, I'm not trying to kind of pinpoint that on him, but at the same time, yeah, I don't know his exact spiritual viewpoints, but I don't know that he.
It stinks of Rogan. Like Rogan, when he flipped moon landing, so freaking like he was just like all this. He used to be all like oh, the moon landing's bunk, completely nonsense. I wonder if is Jeran saying we went to the moon now? That would be hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude,
Ruhif has a wrench
such
now.
a 180, It's like if he gets a Spotify channel, it'll be hilarious.
Ruhif has a wrench on Jeran's channel.
He has a wrench. Yeah, Ruhif has a wrench. I thought that was hilarious.
And didn't Jeran say at one point, he's like, Ruhif would wreck any flat earther in a debate? I'm like, what?
Yikes, dude. Ruhif only knows about a couple angles. That's it.
Dude, we've been debating Ruhif for years, and like, he's not here, so I guess I won't comment on him, but that's not how I see it. Just put it that way.
Yeah, no
what
kidding.
Jeran said. Jeez.
Well, I wanted you guys to have your back and forth, but I do have ideas about all of that, actually, and I didn't know if now was a good time.
Well, we weren't even really discussing the whole Antarctica thing, but we just brought it up like a half hour ago, and we were kind of, because David Weiss and Marty Leeds just came out with a video saying that they think it's a fake sun, and they think that they got duped, and it's a laser beam plasma sun. And Marty Leeds was like, "Oh yeah, it's no problem for them to fake that. That's easy, man. Of course they could do that."
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't trust Marty Leeds, and Dave's. Whether I trust Dave or not, I think he's just trying to save his customer base. It seems to be like soon as this whole thing happened last month, he's been just desperately trying to save his customer base. So this isn't.
What's the critique then of his critique? Essentially, or what is it? His hypothesis is lasers, right?
He doesn't even really have one. He's throwing shit at the wall and saying, well, look, shit's on the wall. So, it must've been faked. And they didn't have to know it was fake. It just had to have been fake.
Basically, it was like there's dew weapons, and look at these photos from like fires that are abnormal, which I agree that there's that whole topic. He basically was like, there's dew weapons. They could fake it. They would fake it because they're, if they're already faking NASA and all this other stuff, why wouldn't they? Yeah. They would save their cosmology. And then also kind of the assumption of like, well, they could fake it, quote unquote. Of course they could fake it, kind of thing. Like,
basically, like, yeah. He just kept repeating it until people thought he had an argument. And so he's just trying to save his customer base, bro. He's got an app. He's trying to make a bunch of money, and people are mad at him.
Maybe.
So
I just want to explore the idea just quickly. So I mean, they do have lasers. They would have technology that we don't know about. They would use it for a scenario such as this. The issue is like how like kind of specific that those lasers could be. So, I mean, what is the proposition? They're shooting the lasers from somewhere else, off in the far distance. The issue is that he's saying actually the sun doesn't appear at all in Antarctica. Hey, and then he puts that with the fact that it's always cloudy down there. And then haven't we also got a problem with the sunspots are still showing up in the sky? So how would they do that with lasers? Is that possible or not?
Yeah, I mean, you're touching on a few of the other things he said. Yeah, he did say I didn't really know how they faked it, but maybe like a laser or a plasma ball. I don't know that he said he kind of said maybe like the real sun just, rises and sets like far north, like north of east, north of west, like far. And then he kind of said like maybe they could put a bunch of chemtrail clouds to like block the sun the real sun, and then put this other one.
Yeah, but dude, honestly, nothing he said could refute the fact that we have the solar filter shots from a very specific wavelength and exposure and zoom setting. Like, it was just the freaking sun. Now, through what medium, in what actual area, those are the questions. But it was the sun. Like, if they're trying to say it wasn't the sun, then you're just puffing smoke to like save a customer base, honestly. My opinion.
Well, it's so much energy to like investigate how they could fake it. Like, why couldn't we just first investigate how it's working on our flat Earth?
Amen.
Way
Amen.
better. Like, if you're gonna be spending, and also if it's fake, like people are spending so much time on it being fake. Like, imagine if these people spent that time figuring out how it works on a flat Earth. Like, we may know by now. Okay.
This is what I've been saying the whole time. Like, everyone's all up in this other business, you know, fighting with each other. Honestly, if people had just like oh man, I was with Austin on this so much. If people had just had a steady hand and not wigged out, you know, like nothing's changed. Nothing has actually changed.
That's not how the society works. We're prone to the spectacle and accusations, and you know, there's a lot of jaded people out there. So, you know, you got to.
It's a good life lesson.
It was never going to happen not this way, was it? Okay, given
Well,
the outcome, it was never not going to happen this way. That like a whole bunch of people would be calling Shillery everywhere.
Bad poker players, man. Bad poker players.
Yeah,
look, I think that like she's totally on point. Should have just held strong with your position, try to figure out how it works. That's it. That's honestly the only thing we can do anyway. I mean, I think everyone can agree that we got here due to a measuring argument, not a unmeasuring argument. So
okay, but
the Skyy isn't really.
Sorry. My bad.
Yeah, it's not really the foundation of how we got here. Or it shouldn't have been.
Okay. I'll put my Dave Weiss hat on for a sec. I'd say he would respond with something like, you guys are saying let's get on with an analysis of how it would work on a flat Earth, and he would be saying, but if it is faked, then you'll be looking in the wrong direction, essentially.
Well, no, entertain both. Entertain both. Sure. Say, hey, you know what?
Exactly.
Maybe there's something we don't know about. Maybe there's some technology, but for now, let's take this part. Let's take this one seriously. Let's see what this fruits. You know, how can we test this? Like maybe we should be exploring other areas of Antarctica. Maybe we should get the star trails in Antarctica in Union Glacier. Maybe there's some other way we can like push the buttons, right? Like,
Dave Weiss did put a proposition forward, like with two planes. I think he was saying something about that crossing over Antarctica and sort of working out first or not whether or not it's a continent or a circumference.
Well, that's way more exciting in my opinion. Like figuring out what the heck Antarctica is way more exciting than like figuring out if they faked it. Like, I don't know. Like at first, I get why people were skeptical, but now it's like, to me, it's just abundantly clear with all the stuff out there that it's real. And I want to know now. Like, I just want to know where the heck we live. Like, I just want to get back in that vibe.
Right.
Like, I just want to wake up. I'm so dorky, but like, I wake up and I want to listen to like Pirates of the Caribbean theme track music and be like, we live in the best movie ever in a little terrarium. And when we die, we're going to be living forever, immortal in the coolest place ever. And right now I'm just in the spiritual battle war zone. And this is the best experience of my entire life. Like, that's just what I want to be back in.
Bro.
Like, that's the vibe.
Bro. Adventure music. I'm telling you guys, hardcore adventure music, you'll be fine.
Exactly. It's like the most epic. Like, it's like, this is such an epic, cool experience. Like, I just want to get back in that vibe. Not like, oh my gosh, you're such a shill. Like, it's just so lame.
Well, but maybe the dust has settled to a degree. I mean, they went, Jeran, well, he's gone on his journey. He now is doing what he's doing, is what it is. Like, Witsit was in the other night. We were talking about it and his comments on it. So that's all happening. But I mean, like Austin has stayed pretty solid, like through all of it, it seems like. I mean, he hasn't, I mean, other than like reacting to all the people that have been attacking him, which is understandable. And he's also saying the record straight and they're also making all kinds of slander. So that was like, other than that kind of tension, which was just, that he kind of had to deal with because there's a lot of people he knew and friends and people in the community and then other people. But I'm just saying he hasn't really shifted from what I've noted, just like he's in the same boat we're talking about in terms of like, yeah, let's move forward, keep getting more information, keep putting more together. Like, there's no reason to like override everything else, all the other evidences and everything else that exists. If those all get overridden individually someday, okay, we find curve, we do this and that, okay, then you can overwrite those. But there's no reason to change any of that. Like that's generally been his position as far as I know. So I mean, I guess I'm just saying, I guess my point about the dust settling, I wasn't really trying to go into Jeran or Witsit. I mean, there's obviously a lot that we could say on each, but I'm everything. I'm just saying Jeran has gone his direction. There's a lot of globe earthers now praising him and doing this whole game where now they're like, oh, now he's, making me feel better about my position, whatever it is going on, right? So there's a whole thing going on with Jeran, and then the Globers are kind of feasting on it and they're trolling and whatever's going on with that. There's still some people that are trying to say TFE is fake, so you have some of that. And then you have like a lot, people that are wanting to actually, just continue the journey, continue unfolding things, putting the evidence in the right categories of where it goes, and then continuing to unfold and unpack and explore further all of all those other factors. So I guess what I'm just saying about the dust settling, like the topic did come up tonight, and there's people giving commentary. There's still these discussions, which I think is probably still going to kind of be surfacing at times, just the discussion in general. But I'm wondering now that it's been like a little over a month and we're into 2025, in the spirit of this, like, could there be some level of like dust settling from some of the initial kind of turbulence of it to where we can actually start to set into a new gear, and like I said, figure out who's exploring together, where, because there's different channels. If you're going to listen to the channel saying it's all fake, well, then that's the content. If you're going to listen to people putting together new ideas and things, well, then you're listening to that, So thankfully, we do have options when it comes to the internet that we can choose.
Well, what they're going to do is they're going to try to
hold on real quick, Riggs. I was waiting to get in. Sorry, I just want to just make a quick comment on Witt's position being so strong and him standing firm on it. Because he's been with us in the trenches. All right, anyone that's been, he's heard it all. We've had the best Globers you could possibly get, and he's heard. We've been through everything to the nitty gritty. We didn't shut shit down. And if you haven't been here with us, you're like, I don't even know. Yeah, you might flip flop all over the place because you haven't heard it. You haven't heard it if you ain't been here with us.
I was just going to say, thanks, Ben. I think the goal at this point is they're going to reinvigorate the trolling, and as long as people get stuck in the head space and get tied up with that bullshit, it's just going to waste more time. And I think now's the time for exploration and testing, and not to really focus on the personalities anymore, right?
This is a big waste of time, though. I'm with Kai. Like, whether they went or not, whatever, fine. That's your position. I feel like we should just move on at this point. You don't believe he went, that's fine. We're just gonna have to live with it. You don't believe it, and move on. I don't know.
That's what was so funny about the presentation. Like, I laughed when I heard the phrase "time wasters" because I'm like, what's really wasting time here, people? Like,
right.
This could be like a flat Earth manifest destiny, like westward expansion, like just a whole new world. Let's go figure out what's going on.
It's funny.
For some reason, it's like a geocentric globe. Like, okay, I really don't care. I just want to know, as much as we can now, what it is. I don't think it's a globe. Like, in my mind, that makes zero sense. But I just want to know what it is. Maybe it's concave. I don't care. Like, I just don't care anymore.
I'm down with the concave. I was I got to be honest. Like, I'm down with the concave. I mean, that makes sense too. The thing is, I think that they're hiding the land. So concave is just more of a cope of a globe, in my opinion.
What part about concave makes sense to you?
Just Yeah, just the fact that like you can literally just invert all of the calculations they currently have, and it's like, haha, now I've got a solution. You know what I mean? Like that's just so. It's like. It's
At least
lazy.
they have their gas pressure contained, but
it's lazy.
It makes even less sense than to sticking on the inside of a sphere than the way they got it set up on the outside. I think I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I know it's more drama. It's fucking hilarious, but Jeran spent like a good 15, 20 minutes talking about the dumbest flat earther he's ever heard, and it had to do with somebody, some female that did a presentation. It was so funny. He covered one of her videos. And that was quite enjoyable. So maybe it might be worth, I don't know, maybe not watching the whole thing, but
I don't agree at all with what he's doing. Like, I definitely think that's not cool. I understand, though, if he feels like people are turning his back and there's another group of people praising him, why it would possibly be like, it would seem tempting to be like, okay, well, these people have my back, so I'm going to go here. Now, do I agree with that? Not at all. I think it's really weird. But I don't want to, I want to be very careful if I'm going to call somebody a shill.
He used a compass upside down. Who does that?
So maybe he didn't know how a compass
I would
works.
do that because I don't know how. I've never used a compass. Like, I'm just going to be real here. That could be me.
He broke Austin's camera in the most important trip of his life. He fucked up the laser test in a documentary that was specifically sanctioned by people who I know are legitimate, like controlled Kabbalah fucking Jewish shills. Like actual.
Yeah, but Geo was there for the laser
actual
test,
controlled hub. Yeah, well, you know what? Geo is
he's a shill.
No, Geo, you just think everybody's like a good person. So I mean, whatever.
I mean, I think he's. I don't know what you mean by that, but I mean, I was there only because Jeran put a video on his channel and said, "Hey, he's gonna be doing this laser test at a canal." So I went there and stuff. It wasn't really necessarily that failed. It was only the one I was at, because there was 2 days of the filming. The second one was with the boards and the holes in the boards. I wasn't at that one. I actually kind of wish I had gone to that because I didn't live that far from there. I could have just driven and done that one too.
Yeah.
Apparently there were more people there. It was like a two or 3 hour drive from where I was.
But he's done other laser tests on his channel, like multiple years apart from each other, and he has literally failed every single attempt of any testing or scientific anything he's ever done, ever. And then he used a compass upside down and broke Austin's camera in the most important moment of his life. So I'm just saying, like, it's one thing to have bad luck. It's one thing to screw up. It's another thing to do it a dozen times in a row in ways that are totally like incalculable. Like I
even if he was a shill, though, like, I don't think he is. But even if he was a shill and now he's a glober, okay, now he's like he's off the chessboard now. And that's okay. New flat earthers, I don't think for flat earth it's aesthetically good to have like a snapback that says THC on it. It just makes flat earthers look bad, in my opinion.
Right.
So if he was a shill, now he's out of the game. So
no. No.
Well, like I said,
now's the beginning of his career.
No, like I said though,
he'll make more money and attract a lot of globers.
Who's gonna watch him? Only globers are gonna think it's cool. And I don't even know if globers will think he's cool. They'll just watch other globers.
Oh, they will.
If I was a glober, I'd watch like a real glober.
They will for like a month or two. Yeah, they'd rather will listen to a real glober. Exactly.
Nope, longer.
Not a kind of fake one. He's like a fake glober. That's
Watch.
funny. Okay. No, but whatever. I'm kind of joking. But no, well, the thing is, I just want to say real quick, Ranty, that's what happened with Ranty. Ranty went globe. He was allegedly flat Earth and then went globe or whatever. The globe earthers like were talking about him every day and coming in the chat to be like, look, guys, Ranty. Oh my God, I feel better about myself now. Whatever it all was, they went all in with Ranty, saying that it was like the best, that he was helping them whatever deal with their interest in this topic, and they were hyping them all up. And then a month or two later, they don't even care about him. They're just going to go watch MC2. And so I don't know that it would last even with Jeran if he tries to go that route.
Okay,
like I said though, like I said though,
nope.
Real
Jeremy
quick,
first.
like I said though, yeah, I was trying to get in. Thanks.
Sorry.
Just like I said though, thank you. Like I said though, if you haven't been here with us in the trenches for years and years and years, grinding it out with these guys, I don't even think you know what's going on, really.